Guys, what is going on? Gale right here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi video. But today, we are not actually playing Danmachi Memoria Freese or even talking about Danmachi Memoria Freese. Well, we'll somewhat talk about it, but not in complete detail. Today, we're going to be talking about the Klab Danmachi game. This game has been in development for the last year and a half pretty much, and today we're gonna look back at it and see where it's actually at this point in time in terms of development, and when do I expect it to release. Now, of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course comment down below. Are you guys excited about the Klab Danmachi game? What are you guys expecting? Is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be bad? Are you guys gonna play it alongside Danmachi Memoria Freese, or are you guys going to drop Danmemo in favor of it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, today's video is going to be talking about a lot of information I've managed to dig up that will be able to give us an idea on when it's supposedly going to release. A lot of new information as well, you know. So before I get into that, let's talk about the Klab Danmachi game. For those of you who don't know, it was announced on 10th February 2021 that they were Klab were developing a Danmachi gacha game for worldwide distribution. Now I say gacha game because Klab is known for making gacha games. Look at their games right here. Bleach Brave Souls. I think my face is covering it, but they do Love Live School Idol Festival. They've done Bleach Soul Rising. They've done the Captain Tsubasa gacha games. So this is not something new. They are going to make this a gacha game for sure. But one of the best things about this is that one, it's a simultaneous release, but two, it's also going to be on PC and mobile. So it's going to be on both platforms. I expect it to be similar to sort of like Bleach Brave Souls or Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, where it's available on Steam. I don't know if it's going to have its own client like how Genshin does or Honkai does. I don't know about that. But I definitely do think it'll be on Steam because, I mean, like I said, Klab develops Bleach Brave Souls, so I wouldn't be surprised if they make it something like that onto PC as well, right? So I expect that to be the case. Now, like I said, we haven't actually heard about anything in the last year and a half. No trailers, no images, no nothing, you know. And I only thought about this yesterday actually, because I completely forgot that Klab were actually developing a Danmachi gacha game for a very long time until yesterday. For some reason, I just thought about it after the Japanese news live stream. You guys can check out that video. I covered like all the new events and stuff in that video. But after I made that video, I actually thought about it and I was like, wait a second. What happened to that Klab Danmachi gacha game that was announced about a year ago? I generally thought it was like 6 months ago they announced it, but then I came onto their website and I saw it was announced last year, which is insane. It's about to become 2 years since this announcement in like 4 months time, you know? So I was just like, okay, let me look into it, let me dig deep a little bit and see what sort of information I have. Now, of course, they announced back then as well that they have decided to partner with Aiming Inc. for development. So it's not just a Klab developed gacha game, it's alongside Aiming Inc., who we will look at in just a moment. But the idea is that this game is going to be both on JP and global. Now, one thing to note is that Danmachi hasn't had only just one gacha game. Mind you, Memoria Freeze isn't its only gacha game. It's actually had two other gacha games. Well, one is alive and one is dead. Let's talk about the dead one. Orari Rhapsodia was shut down about 3 years ago in 2019, and I think it was 2019. It was either 2018 or 2019, and it was an online only gacha game that was available in Japan only. So that made it really, really hard for people to access, and as a result, I think that's one of the main reasons why it shut down. I think it had a lot of OCs and stuff like that, but unfortunately, I think just because of the way it was distributed, I think that was a big L on their part, and that's why the game shut down. Now, the other game is actually still alive, but again, it's only available in Japan, and it's called Danmachi Cross Historia. So, it's a good game. I really like the art in it. The art in Cross Historia is phenomenal, but again, because it's only Japanese, it's a struggle to actually play it if you're an overseas player, in all honesty. So, that's the reason why Danmachi Memoria Freeze has actually done so well as well, in that, you know, it's available overseas as well. It's available in the US, it's available in the EU regions, it's available in Asia. So it's much more accessible and a lot of players can play it. And I think they're nailing it right here by making it available for both Japan and overseas. So fantastic job from Klab in terms of that. Now, one thing to note is that they've used the Danmachi Season 4 symbol here, and we'll come on to that in just a moment. So I decided to dig deep a little bit because one thing to note is that a lot of information about upcoming gacha games or current gacha games is easily found in their investor relations statements or presentations. So if you go over here, you can see that they have you have access to their financial statements, their presentation slides, their shareholders meetings, Q&As, and stuff like that. So I decided to open up one of their presentations for the fiscal year 2022, the second quarter. This is their latest presentation that they've done. It was available in August, so I missed it out by nearly 2 months now. It's a 2-month-old presentation, but we should be getting the next one sometime in like December, January is my guess, right? So if I scroll down here, they talk about their revenue, operating income, how well they've done on each title. They're talking about Bleach Brave Souls, Captain Tsubasa, Love Live, and stuff like that. So that's something to bear in mind, is that they'll talk about current games, but more importantly, they start talking about future games as well. They talk about what they're doing, what they're planning on developing, where their expenses going, and where are they at in terms of their development as well. So let's look at their pipeline. This is what they mean by what's to come, basically. So if you can see here, now obviously the one we're most interested is the second row, but they have a co-developed title with EA coming out. It's a sports simulation game. They have a game based on Danmachi that's supposedly coming out, and the global distribution is scheduled. We'll come on to that line in just a second. They also have a game based on JoJo's. They have a game based on Touhou Project. Apparently, I think there is already a Japanese version of the game available, so they're preparing a Chinese release as well. Now they also have Gurren Lagann also being in development. So obviously they have all these games in development, but one thing that they haven't mentioned at all in any of the other games, but it's in the Danmachi one, is that the Danmachi one already has its global distribution scheduled. Now, for me, this means that the game is ready to be released in the next 4 or 6 months. Literally, next 4 to 6 months, we should be getting it. And another reason why I think that's the case, and why I was asking you guys to pay close attention to the fact that they use the Danmachi Season 4 symbol, is because I believe when the next half of the anime starts airing in January is when we'll start getting this game coming out. I think we'll start getting more and more information about this game as well. So to me personally, I expect this game to release anytime between January to March, or maybe April, because I feel like they want to take the hype of the anime and, you know, promote a new game, and the game will also promote the anime at the same time, because players will be like, okay, there's a new Danmachi gacha game coming out, or gacha game fans will be like, oh, there's a new gacha game coming out, let's try it out. And especially because it's on PC and mobile, you're gonna attract a much wider audience than just a mobile audience. Of course, the mobile audience is ginormous. It's ridiculously big. It is ginormous. So I don't believe like it's a struggle, even if they just attract the mobile audience, but getting a PC audience as well definitely helps out, right? It's one of the big reasons and one of the big issues we've had with Danmachi Memoria Freese, in that, you know, the marketing of that game isn't the greatest. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, of course, there's one more thing to note, is that in their Q&A, they talked a bit about blockchain, and I want to address this because I'm not the biggest fan of blockchain titles. I played the Ni no Kuni gacha game, and I did not enjoy it. And something that they mentioned is that right now they believe that the balance between, you know, people who want to play crypto games and the people who don't want to play crypto games, there's no balance there to make a game like that. So they're trying to avoid that from happening. So don't worry, Danmachi is not going to be a blockchain game. At least it's most likely not going to be, unless they decide to, you know, add it after a point, but I don't think it's going to be the case. It's, for some reason, a lot of these developers are focusing on blockchain for some reason, and I don't understand why. They're not well designed games, in my personal opinion. I've played 2 or 3 of them, Ni no Kuni being the most prominent one, and they're not great at all, to be quite honest. Personally, I just don't enjoy them. Now, let's look at Aiming Inc. Now, these guys have actually developed a couple of games I've played personally. One big one being Dragon Quest Tact. Dragon Quest Tact is actually an extremely popular game in Japan, and it's consistently in the top 5 grossing charts whenever there's something big happening on the game. So for me personally, I genuinely think that the fact that they've got a big title under their belt makes me think that they're good developers. But another game that I personally played way more of, and not Dragon Quest Tact, is actually the Mushoku Tensei game. And this is a bit of the other way around, because Mushoku Tensei actually didn't do really that well. It shut down after a year of its release, you know, because it released in March 27, 2021. I think it recently shut down in like June or July, I think, or they announced the shutdown of the game. So in that regards, it didn't do well. But to me personally, the game itself was very good. It's just that the franchise itself wasn't popular enough, in my personal opinion. I think a lot of people know the name and the anime did well and everything of that sort. But one, I personally believe Danmachi is a much more popular franchise, especially in Japan. So the fact that Danmachi was outselling it was not a surprise. Also, Danmachi has had previous games, so it's going to do well no matter what. Whereas Mushoku Tensei, it was a completely new IP coming into the foray. It wasn't, it wasn't expected to do well. And on top of that, you make it a Japanese-only title. It's going to be an issue. There's not going to be enough fans to be able to fund the game to, survive, basically. So for me, I think that was one of the biggest issues. The game itself, I genuinely believe, was a lot of fun, though. I played it for like a week or two, but then I realized I don't have the time to play a game in Japanese, and especially because I play for the story in a lot of these gacha games. The fact that I'm not understanding what's happening or anything of that sort, I just decided, you know what? Scrap it. If it comes globally, fantastic. If it doesn't, well, sucks to suck. And it didn't come out globally, so it sucks to suck, clearly, right? But no, that's about it. I think these guys are pretty good. I mean, you guys can go check out some of their games. They're pretty darn cool, I think. But overall, I'm very excited about this, in all honesty, at this development that we found out. We are expecting the game to come out within the next 6 months at least, I would assume. I expect the game to start being promoted by Klab in the next month or two. I think Klab are currently focusing a lot more on ensuring that Bleach Brave Souls is selling extremely well because of the new Bleach season, right? So that's something to bear in mind. But there you guys go. There's a couple of thoughts from yours truly regarding the Klab Danmachi gacha game, and some research that I've done, and some information that I found. Of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, once again, appreciate a like button down below, and of course, subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Of course, I will cover this game when it does drop. How excited are you guys for this game? I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say down below. Once again, appreciate all of you all for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye, everybody.